Alright guys, big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, and today we have Blazing Paladin, also known as Chris.
As with Nubatama today.
Yes, Chris is very happy today for a reason, which is who's coming back?
Flame. Finally.
Yeah, it's actually the clan / deck that
where
you
we first started the channel with.
Yeah, and also when you played that deck, I felt like you had the most fun and most passion playing.
And until years later, when I found it the most disgusting deck.
Which is
Jamie.
Nubatama.
Nubatama.
Alright, Jamie the clan.
Jamie the clan.
Rena
For
the
now,
clan.
Well, we still have to wait for 2 months and then we can say it's Rena the clan again.
Yeah.
Sure.
So-
Which can be fun.
Chris was able to get second place in the Springfest.
Thank you, Professor Arnhem.
Yeah, and he was playing against Dave. Dave was able to take first place, and then in the other tournament, he was also able to get to the finals. So we will profile that deck as well. You guys were very interested to see the Gear Chronicle deck.
And top 8 in the
And the other
in
one?
Zwolle. Yes.
As well. Yeah.
Top 8 in the finals.
Noise.
But
Right,
no
so
changes.
Nubatama. Why Nubatama? Chris, why?
Well, I can't play Mega Colony.
What
so
happened in your life so you chose Nubatama as a clan?
I decided I hate
I mean,
people.
Mega Colony, Nubatama,
Chaos Breaker.
Chaos Breaker.
I decided that I hate people, so to
Okay.
give them the least amount of fun
Give them
gives me so
nightmares.
much more pleasure.
Either's ending.
The cringe, but
Yeah. Alright, so before we go through the deck, would you like to talk a little bit about the deck? Like, what are good matchups, bad matchups?
Protect Force, easy matchups.
Yeah.
Excel, harder.
Okay.
You have to get more crowd control in the field, which
Yeah.
is possible with the deck.
Mhm.
But you still have the high roll to get certain pieces, so that's
Okay.
something you have to keep in mind. There were certain combos in the deck I really loved, and they won me more than enough games in Arnhem and in Zwolle.
So it's not because it's just an SP.
No, not just because it's NSP, but
But it does help.
It does help a lot.
Alright.
If it's not NSP, I will not play it.
Yeah. So we will get into that later because there are some deck cards in that deck that makes the deck more interesting to play. And sometimes comes as a surprise if your opponent don't know the card or don't expect it.
They
But one more question, a very important question, is Rena or Jamie?
after the next set,
No, now and then later after.
Rena.
Rena.
I
Rena
like-
after or Rena now?
After
And now? Jamie.
Jamie,
Alright.
because the other deck doesn't have a consistent way of keeping up,
Okay.
which
So-
is possible after the next set.
So first let's go fast through the deck. So you could see your build. And then after that, we come back and explain your choices and also some of the combos.
Will do.
Yes. So let's start
So-
with the Grey 3s.
Yes, for the Great Trees, 4 copies of Jamie Congo. Nothing
Yep.
to explain actually because it's a really strong card. Gives hand please hand restrict. Amazing. For now, 4 copies of Megastar Storm.
Yeah.
Really strong card in certain matchups. I really enjoyed it during the match against Asha. It really saved my ass.
Yep.
Due to the perfect guard ability. And that's the only reason why you play it.
Yeah, and you can't keep riding into Jamie.
Yeah. Enjoyy for the return to reset the opponent's board.
Yeah.
Really strong. Sometimes if I go to the dominate route I can use the discard and draw ability, but didn't come up that much. My first attack unit choice, Suo. On place, 5k when I have a Jamie Vanguard and he counts for 2 to guard when he
Yep.
attacks.
Which is a pain in the ass.
3 is the magical number.
And not 4?
No, not 4. 3 if the opponent has 3 cards in hand, then the next card is do or die actually.
Yep.
So I get to 3 tokens, defense, power, will be a lot better next set. And 4 copies of Gale,
Best boy for now.
best boy, still.
Yeah.
Even after PVT 11. Draw, soul in, I can reuse, I can add cards back to hand for next turn.
15k.
15k.
Perfect.
Hits for magic numbers.
Yep.
1 homily for the Axel and multi-attack matchups.
Yeah.
Really helped. I went triple Brit
Interesting.
for multiple reasons. One reason was because most of the times it was my right target, so he's an instant 11k booster or 11k attacker. And I can recycle the Suos to my hand over multiple turns. So if the situation is that I have to ride Jamie first, I can still combo with the Suo and hit for multiple attacks with a lot of guard.
Especially because now you could kill on the first strike.
Yes.
Which
Really
is
strong.
Yeah.
2 is most of the time skill. 2 of the token generators.
It's
Not
enough.
really needed, but
It's
I
enough.
wanted more consistency in my plays.
You just don't have the soul in this deck
Not
to
yet.
use more.
3 cards of the Toei. On attack, hit, draw card, and a 30k booster when the token is on the field.
Good pressure.
Good pressure, even on attack. And next, the best grade 1.
Yeah. The only great one that deserves to be at 4.
Yes. Only the grade 1 that deserves to be on 4.
Which still in my eyes this should have been the double rare.
Yeah, but now it's easy to get.
Yeah,
And I have
sure.
16.
Especially if you have so many decks.
Yeah, true. I'm at 5 in a row, so.
Crits.
Crit.
303.
3 on 3.
Yeah, understandable.
I like it more that way. Might bump this up, but I like the soul.
Yeah, it's hard because the soul and the power is nice, but also striding is nice. So you can't really choose. Both of them are good,
The thing
depending on the
is,
situation.
when you go to the Drachma stride, then you really don't want it on the field.
No.
But you can push for higher numbers if possible.
Sometimes the 10k makes a huge difference,
It makes
especially
a
because if your opponent don't have a PG, then you say yeah they could G guard, but your stride already has a huge number, and
It already hits for high numbers.
exactly.
For the draw triggers,
Just 6.
just 6. 2 counter charge heals, 2 normal heals,
2 on 2.
and a starter.
There is no reason to play another starter. The heals are pretty much up to you. If you find yourself needing more shield value in the early game, then you could play V
Then I
heals.
can,
But the deck could be very counterblast heavy.
this will be an SP next set.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Another reason to play it.
So for the strides, double Jackerso might bump it up to 3, but didn't find any reason to do it. 2 attack lords, 2 Mission Lords, still really strong. 1 for crowd control. I actually played this one.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
What did you target?
First target was long winning Tapas until he realized that it was a stupid ID. So he changed it back to another card.
Okay.
I allowed it.
Good guy.
But
Good guy, Chris.
yeah, good guy. But still,
Good guy plays Nubatama, sure.
in which country is this? But still, yeah, it's usable. I don't use it a lot, but sometimes you find the moment to abuse this effect.
It's not. I mean, when the cards was first introduced, we were kind of excited about it, but at the same time, we were kind of okay.
It needed more power to prevail.
Or you choose.
Yeah.
The
And
player chooses, and not the opponent chooses which card they target, because that's kind of stupid.
Yeah, but still, it finds some uses now and then, and it's an
If your
easy
opponent
flip target.
forgets about it,
Yeah,
it
it's an easy
could be
flip target.
it could be good for strike target.
Gilgal
strike target.
for easy strides and crowd control.
Yeah.
Still the first stride most of the time, so
That-
you can
yeah.
get access to
In
it.
my eyes, he was always the best for stride. I mean, because after that you don't really have to keep discarding those
Nope.
amazing grade 3s that you kind of want. And also, you don't play stride follows, I saw, so
No,
you
not
only
needed.
play the 8s. But yeah, and now we have this big boy, which
It's even better. He can kill in the first turn.
Yeah, it's really good. Pressuring, drawing, recycling.
Recycling, resetting, everything. 1 drachma for the finisher. Never
Still a
used it. Still never used it.
He's still a killer.
He's still a killer, but I never saw.
Yeah, you can't afford to write JB, discard JB.
There were some moments within the tournament that I was setting up the plays for it, but then my opponent pulled the heal trigger, so it was too risky to go into him.
Okay.
So I went to a different route. Cibreeze, because some people like to stay on the grade 2, and I want an extra drive check.
Mm-hmm.
The utmost reason why I still use it is because this deck does not have a guaranteed way of generating a lot of pressure on its first ride. to grade 3.
No.
But with the Shiranui incoming, it might change because it's a lot better when you can use the masculine domination tokens.
The playstyle of the deck will change because then you could play more standard, and now you kind of have Megutsu Storm for the defensive options, but
it's too slow.
It's just a filler grade 3.
Yeah.
He always will be a filler grade 3.
And the downside is because he's a defensive grade 3, it doesn't give a lot of pressure. So the first ride into Storm is a turn that you don't do anything.
It's weak.
It's weak. And we can make it a lot stronger next set.
You can't just afford going to Jamie if you don't have a second copy, or even if you have a second copy, you normally would still want to keep it.
But even first right into Jamie, then going to the stride, then second right into Jamie, and going on is even stronger now.
Yeah.
So for the G guards, one of the flippers, 2 of the snatchers, and 2 of the big shields.
Understandable.
And tokens.
Why aren't they SP?
They're already full art.
Ah, okay, sorry, my bad.
I mean, you can have these kind of markers, which is also nice. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. All right, so let's get back and talk about the deck a little bit. As we said, let's start with the new boy.
With a combo.
New boy, best boy.
The best boy. So this one is by far my favorite one to play with this combo. He gives a lot of pressure. First right target, first right or second right when you have the full skill or the pre-skill.
Let's say a first right, so you don't have him in your soul, so your opponent has 6 cards, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you write.
So most of the time my board will look like this. And
Did you cheat?
yeah, but I needed this one.
Yeah.
Most of the time my board will look like this. This will be the 10k, this will be the 5k, this will hit for 20, which is still low, but better than nothing.
Fine.
There are ways to upgrade it to 22 if you play this, but most of the times you have to blast to counter blast, so you want to recycle your resources. Most of the times attack 1 for 24, attack 2 for 22 or 20.
Yeah, and right here is the thing. If your opponent would like to guard this, it does still cost them
use 2
cards. So normally they would take this. Let's say they are on 3 damage, right? So they take this, and that's the thing. They actually never have to take this, because if they do, then they have to deal with a crit right here.
Even just on itself, it forces out out damage or 2 cards, which is a win-win.
So they guard this. I mean, they take this. They are at 6, and then they guard this, which they go back to 5, let's say.
So then the next attack will be this. Well, the token will not boost, but let's say that on this attack he drew a trigger. Then for the reset, I'm allowed to call 2. So this will be my other staple. So these 2 will return. I make this first 11-11 to make the opponent's Vanguard 11 again. Then I will trigger his on place ability to make him 16, which hits for magic numbers. And then there's still a 20-37k Vanguard to guard.
Yeah, and that's the thing right here, because now they would have to PG this or G guard this.
Which makes them go down to 3 cards, and then they still have 2 attacks left.
Yeah, and even if you don't kill them this turn, which is not needed, because next turn will be even stronger, your opponent would go with like 2 cards in hand, start the turn, maybe stand and draw, have 3 cards in hand, and they normally could recover, but
depends on the field that they have. Actually, if they don't have a field set up, then most of the time it guarantees me the win. It will be a lot harder if my opponent already has an established board. Then Gilgal would have been a bit better. Let's say that the opponent got a damage trigger and I can't reset. Then the next best option is to go for breath to gain the ability to reset the Suo for the next turn. I don't mind if my field is empty as long as it's another mirror match, which this card is kind of devastating.
Yeah.
Because here in the mirror match, this card is
depending on which deck they play. But
but mirror match Yummy is just not a good stride actually. I've given my opponent free stuff to discard. So. Oops. Sometimes
So that's pretty much going through the deck, talking about the combo, and knowing how the deck works could mean your opponent could play around it. But in the case that you play Jamie and not Rene, it doesn't matter what your opponent will do. They will go back to 4 cards, and from that moment on, you have a lot of strikes.
You finally have a Grey Elemental that can reset on 8, and the idea behind Rene is that you must at least have 7 cards-ish in hand to survive. Which makes it a lot. Still gives it a lot of potential to kill.
Okay. Is there anything you want to, let's say, fill in with the new deck, because the deck will change?
Yes.
So
actually, quite a lot.
Yeah. So
there are multiple ways.
We could keep talking about the current builds. But I think most people are interested to know how the deck will shift as in the playstyle with a new support.
I might split the 2 decks. So one of them will be focused on Rene, the other one will still use the old combo.
Yep.
And the thing that I'm thinking about testing right now is the Temposphere version, which plays a small amount of vanillas to add to the hand. Temposphere flips in Cyclones, and then I'm allowed to go Mukuro on the first stride, which can fetch me, gives me access to the fact that Shiranui can go to the Salt, and that grants me the access to the Jamie Congo's ability on first stride.
How about Ren with Temposphere?
Ren and Temposphere, it's still strong, but they need to focus more to the Rene with Zanki and a Grey Elemental core, Zazan Temposphere core can still work.
Then you pretty much go full.
Then you pretty much go full Cyclone.
Yeah. And how about that deck? Because
I played against it. It's really strong. It outpaces this deck by quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because most of the abilities are free. Zazan is still free, and one Temposphere is a counterblast 1 for 2 to the hand.
Yeah.
You give your field power, which this deck can gain access to after the first Grade 3 ride.
Yeah. Make bigger numbers.
It makes bigger numbers. It makes it a lot faster, and that's really hard to play against. And I screwed up my mirror match by going into the Jugmazer stride because I resetted my full board. And then had to discard 2.
And he went Jamie?
He went Jamie 4.
Ooh.
So that was quite a misplay. Should not have done that.
Was the best of 1?
It was the best of 1 when it happened.
Yeah. Because I also played against that deck, and first of all, I actually expected Rene and not Jamie in that deck. But after seeing 1 in his damage, which was a Jamie, I thought, okay, so I have to change my strategy around.
Yes, but it's a really strong deck, but I don't like the idea of playing a lot of vanillas. It doesn't suit my style.
Yeah, the thing is, in our team, especially Chris, some others, Dave also, we like to play a deck that have multiple options. We always talk about consistency of the deck, options that you have. You don't always have your best combo, but you have multiple options, combos to go with.
Yeah, with multiple routes to go with.
And that makes you also a better player, because you have to adapt to certain situations and you have to make the best out of it. And playing the deck a lot would mean that you will become better with the deck.
But if you talk about what is going to stay and what is going to leave, this will stay. He will leave.
Yeah.
The strike will be the same. Storm will leave. I will play a small core of the new Shiranuis to 3-2.
Which make when you go first, you have
when
a better
I can get access to going first.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of searchers for the Shiranui name with the new support wave. So that gives a lot of consistency into gaining the upper hand with it.
Promo is very hard.
Yeah, I hope it comes soon. So big chance that it will be the normal Shiranui and 1 Orbital just for the first turn.
Yeah. The same idea as we have now with Gears on the next stage.
Yes.
You just add 1 next stage or Metallic Phoenix.
This one will leave. This one will leave. Honori will stay. And I think that the Grade 2 lineup is very solid as it is right now. I might squeeze in a Genkai just for easy soul charge and giving other units boost. And what I'm also considering is trying to find a way to add Kokoshi Gurasu back to the deck. because whenever we go first and we can get the full combo with the Shiranui, we can blast the field away, give the opponent a -5.
Yep.
Which is still strong and
It does hurt them a lot.
And it hurts myself as well due to discarding to protect markers. But in the long run, we win a lot more.
Yeah. Depending on against which deck you're playing.
Depending on the deck, but it's more fit against Axel in that way because
they can't fill their field and have a strong first try.
And same deal with the Jummy after the release in combination with Mukuro. You wipe the board, you gain access to the full ability.
Exactly. Because what they do most of the time, they fill their field, which means that they have less cards in hand, and they think, okay, I always have a good field. And you go to this, fill their field, and they don't have a lot of cards in hand. And most clans could not recover from that.
There are only a few clans that can come back from this, but most of the times that is a guaranteed win.
Yeah. Especially with the amount of pluses that most clans make right now, they always have a big hand. That's why Nubatama was in the past, when this deck was at its best, let's say with Rena, when Rena was introduced, the clan became very known and very strong, which before that...
I still played Rena last year, before Premium Collection 1, and that was still very strong, and afterwards the power creep kept pushing and Zanki was out of the deck.
Yeah, and the thing is, when right now, when you look at the premium format, a lot of decks just have so many cards in hand, which is one of the reasons why this deck will always be a good deck because of Jamie. Just setting your opponent at 4 cards means that they would have a hard time with guarding.
Even 6 is enough to give your opponent a hard time, but it is easier at 4.
Six with him.
6 with him. 6 with him is strong.
Oké.
4
Ik
with
ga proberen
still strong.
van attack.
Ja.
Goed voor Soul.
Or even Drachma for a really easy finisher. But yeah.
I mean, I know you also want to be on profile, but they don't have to hear you all the time. He just noticed.
I hear some white noise, I don't know why. But yeah, I think that's about it for the deck right now. Still playtesting with the new support.
Yep.
Might pre-order a Japanese playset.
Definitely do. At least one SP, always nice to have.
Yeah, well, depending on the price, I might order one
It's
Japanese.
not expensive.
Not expensive?
No,
Well, then we'll do it.
It's not expensive. It would be like, well, maybe €3 max.
If you're not playing Spike Brothers.
No, because most of the time I like to have at least one SP out of it. I think I got you one SP Shiranui from Japan, right?
No, Mujilord.
Mujilord, I got
Still have it. I still have the Overwhelm.
Ooh,
In,
that's the Japanese one.
The Japanese Overwhelm in
In his sleeve.
Not only in his sleeve. On my wall with the other dark faces.
Yeah.
I saw the deck, but I couldn't commit on selling those.
No, they're so beautiful.
Well,
Alright.
a lot of you will be very mad if I sell them. So.
Alright,
that's
guys.
about it for now.
Yep, would definitely like to thank you all for watching, and it's also up to you what you want to see next from Nubatama, because when it comes to Chris, he's crazy about Nubatama making also different builds, the same way as Dave with his gears and me with my spikes.
I have a lot of things incoming. Jummy Congo with Kuchi Congo, Kuchi Jummy, Hanzo will be back, and Pure Dominate, Mask of Domination build for standard. And maybe a different version of Hanzo, because we don't have a lot of room to play. And for premium, there are 2 ways, or Jummy or just normal Shiranui with Rena.
We could definitely make a video for you guys to talk about the different builds, but not go too much into them, that you know which decks you could expect.
We can do an preview from the set release with something,
and then we
with
could
some
talk
IDs
about
on the end.
How the decks will change. Because finally, Nuba will also be interesting in standard. Because
I was so done with it last year.
Well, the thing is, it's strong, but it's just weaker than other clans.
It was still outpaced within the same. It was still outpaced within the same set, which was sad because you spend a lot of time and money sometimes on your deck to build, and then you can only play it for one format and then it's done.
Yeah, that's it.
But we'll keep you posted, and that will be it from me. So thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment what you want to hear and what you want to see next, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Zeg jij?